Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today I thought we were going to do my previous readings that I still really want to get out into the world, but instead we're going to go a different direction. Because while in meditation today, I was gifted a new meditation / breathing technique. And this technique is really good when you're in like a high stressful situation where you need to regulate your emotions. It's very good for giving and receiving, and emotional regulation is what they say. And so the example that they showed was a partnership, or when you're in a relationship. Right? Everyone's not going to be at a 10 every single day. Everyone's not going to wake up and be super excited and happy all the time. We have bad days. And so it's just not reasonable to think otherwise. So when you're in a partnership, it's really great because maybe you're having a bad day, but then someone else can hold space for you so that, you can work through the things that you need to work through and release what you don't. And then, the next day, maybe because you're now feeling better, you can hold space for the other person. And it's just like a back and forth, right? It's never a 10-10 situation. It's on a scale of whatever equals 10. But let's say you don't have someone to hold space for you. What do you do then when you're kind of stuck in this thing where it's the equivalent they showed is an earthquake? So the earth and the mountain, the tectonic plates pushing against each other, causing that eruption, two plates just not being happy, and then the earthquake happens, a big split, because the energy had nowhere to go. And so the example was partnerships outside of us, but inside of us, we also have two energies to balance, right? We got our light and dark. We got the masculine and feminine energy. We have above and so below. And so it's working on balancing those two shadow aspects, shadow and light, within ourselves, and letting it flow. And so the technique that they gave, they called it the seashell breathing technique. And it says it's really good for balancing giving and receiving, because that's very important. If you are a person who can only give and never receive, well, if two people are giving, now you got that conflict. Now you got that earthquake happening. It really has to be in the flow. And so they said this was good for clearing emotion and stagnant energy. And so it is a little bit of visualization, which meditation is all forms of things. So we'll call this overall just a meditation, and then break it down into visualization, a little bit of qigong, and a body scan. And so as I was gonna do this, they said to pull cards as well as teach this. And so I said, what do you want me to, wait, do I tell this first or do the cards first? Nope, we're gonna keep talking about this first, they say. Okay. And so it's really simple. It is. And I'm really thankful that it came today. It just seems like today is weird. Just been kind of from the morning, go, and jumping through, it feels like hoops, just out of the norm, everyday routine, things happening that rearranged my whole day. And so rather than get stressed or overwhelmed or anything with this, I did this twice today, and I'm still feeling very open, very good, very grounded. That's the important part, right? Because it is the two parts, the balance, the above and below. So to start off, you find yourself in a comfortable seated meditation position. It could be in a chair, wherever, sit on the floor. They do want your spine to be straight though. So I don't recommend going to lay in bed. It's more up. because we're working on the energy coming up and down. And so first thing you're going to work on balancing is the above and below. So you connect to your, right, you're you. Just take some conscious breaths. Be in your body, right? Don't think about the things outside of you. Detach all that stuff. Only you in your body. And you can always start at your heart. That's the best place to start. And so just take some breaths and just feel how you feel. Be aware. And so once you're finally aware, you can have the intention to connect to your higher self. And so how I kind of see it is like a column of light connects you. Like you'll never break away from it. You always have this divine connection. And then from there, higher self is kind of connected to source. And then just because, right, source is one, and then higher self is a little bit individualized. And so by doing that, I just imagine a column, right? Now you're connected to source. You know that, or connected to your higher self. You know that your higher self is connected to source. It's all feeling good. And you have that intention of bringing that information or light down. I like to use a white column only because white is the color that encompasses all colors. But really you can use whatever feels best for you or whatever you're feeling guided to use. Right? But I like to work with white light or gold. And so, right, you bring that down. And as you bring it through your crown chakra, you're going to do like, this is the body scan part. You're going to bring it through your third eye, your throat, and then anchor it into your heart. Because your heart is also a powerful light center. So you got your higher self, right? The crown, that's a light center. Then you got your heart center. But as you're pulling this light through, just let it melt everything around. Let it release, right? This is the stagnant energy part. We're going to let that kind of trickle through and, as it again, scan and just notice it. You might come across something that's just very, very uncomfortable and you might want to hyper focus on it. But the intention is to recognize it, say, I see you, I recognize you, but you have to keep going because it's just an energy kind of block that, right, you can do the light, the breath through it, but keep going, right? Anchoring into the heart. So from there, your mind is clear because you're connected to source. This is where you hear and get, well, whatever way you work with source, your clairs. But here you're able to receive the information from your guides, your higher self, from source, and mostly just thinking clearly. That's what they're showing. You've got unlimited energy source. You've got all this information. That's where creativity and dreams and purpose you can get from your guides, angels, whatever. And then so in from the heart. You just feel that, right? Just don't force a feeling, right? Sometimes you have a meditation and it feels better. Like you just have the most blissful one. And then the next time you're like, well, I don't feel like I did that time, so I'm not doing it right. But that's not true. That's just whatever it was at that moment. Maybe you released some energy blockages and you don't have that anymore. Now you're going deeper, right? So don't judge your experience from the last one, but use your last one as like a muscle memory, right? Because the more and more you do this, the quicker it will happen. The more it will just be an instant. So we're in the heart. We got source pulled into our heart. From there, we're going to anchor down into the earth. And again, do the flow and melt and release any tension that's in us. So you go through your solar plexus. That's your stomach, down into your sacral chakra. And then at the base of your spine is the root chakra. And from there, imagine it. Okay, just because I'm sitting, I don't know how you're sitting. I have a hard time, right? You do want to work through your legs and out your toes as well. But I find that I do need for myself a root from the root as well as the legs. It's just something that worked for me. I tried other ways and I just wasn't very grounded that way. because usually I sit cross-legged. And so just imagine all of it. Just remember all. Whatever makes you feel really grounded and connected with the earth. And then from that, right, we've worked all the way through our body. Now it needs a place to let go. That's where I say grow a root from the roots or your toes. Maybe you might need to visualize an anchor. Maybe roots work for you. Whatever it is that will help you sink in, because you're going to go all the way to the center of the earth. You're going to plug into that energy core. And I don't quite know how your experience will be, but when I'm there, I just feel all the stagnant energy gone. It just pulls it out. And so here you're receiving, there you're letting go. And from there, you're going to want to bring it back up. It's going to go through your legs, right? You're going to bring up that earth energy, whatever you gave to it, all that stagnant energy, it's okay to let that go. Because the earth can transmute it into what it thinks is a more healthier energy to utilize. And so now you use this new energy of the earth's energy and bring it up through the root. And right, you're going to work again through the sacral, solar plexus, and anchor that in the heart. So, right, that's a body scan. And now we're connected above and below. We've opened the channels. We've kind of witnessed what's going on in our body. So now they said to take your palms and put them in prayer pose. So when you do this, it's bringing, right, in your body, it almost like is your, sorry, I'm getting distracted with beauty. So your hands, reflex points and things, right? There's meridians as to what your body is. Each kind of represents a thing. So when you bring both palms together, it's really bringing both sides together, right? So we've already worked on above and below, bringing those together. Now it's bringing the two sides together. And that's what prayer hands do. And so now we're going to do a little bit of Qigong kind of exercise. So when you take a deep breath, I don't know if this is Qigong. I said it's kind of like. So they said to take a deep breath, and when you do, you expand. And in this, you're filling up your lungs, right? Maybe your belly, but until your lungs are open. And then when you release, you're going above your heart and below your heart. Breathe in again. And then release, and then switch. So the more and more that you keep doing this, it says, inhale and extend. Imagine building energy between your palms on the inhale, and then the energy going back to the earth source based on which hand is above or below. What I mean by that is you're bringing in, when you breathe in, you're bringing in from source. It goes down, you're pretty much pulling that into your heart. From your heart, it goes out into your hands, out into your palms. And so now you're building energy as you're doing this with your breath. And so your focus and your intention on your breath as you build this light. Sometimes you'll feel it like pulling your hands kind of, a tree ball, right? When you breathe in. And the more and more you do this, your hands start to just kind of automatically do that. And you'll start to feel the energy in your palms. You can play around with it. Right? And as you do this, you're starting to feel your hands will get pulled back in. But when you put it in your Dantian, it's gone. Because you infuse that energy into you. Now that energy is in there to circulate and flow. And so what they showed was when you breathe in, you are building that. It's almost the same thing, but as you exhale, it was, what they were showing is, again, that earthquake, the mountain and the earth, creating that friction. But what they showed is a piece of paper. And then you can take like scissors and make little slits, right? So things kind of space out. so that each one kind of has its thing. So now, right, instead of everything coming to the heart at the same time, whoo, right? And the heart's like, ah, it's like, it's kind of helping flow. It's just bringing more flow, they said. They said your breath originates in the lungs, in the heart area. And as you exhale, it clears a path from you to source. So this hand is kind of pushing it up, back to source. This hand's pushing it down to the earth, bringing it back. So it's just that constant flow. So when they showed it from the heart in like this 3D, because when you do it, the energy is really spiral. And so they did this kind of like spiral back to source. And that's what they showed, is it's almost a seashell when you look at it. You know, the ones that like twist and the longer ones on the points. So that's why it's called the seashell technique. And so what they showed was the heart is fire. The heart is fire energy. Source is ether, air, spirit. But when you breathe that in, your breath is air. When you're grounding it into the earth, that's the earth energy. So you almost got every element here. And I was like, well, what's up with the water? And then, because I'm like, well, one of it somehow, like for balance, water's got to be there. And then, what does this say? There's no water because the emotions are cleared. This is a clearing emotional breath technique, they said. And so as I went to go do, pull out which cards they wanted, I heard she sells seashells by the seashore, because water is emotions, and all of this is clearing water or emotional technique. And so as I did that, I'm like, well, what would that even reference? And so the cards I first saw were the mermaids. And my first reaction, to be honest, was, really? Like, I don't want to jump on that bandwagon right now. Like, everyone's mermaids, but it is the theme. So we're bringing in mermaids. And that's the Aquarius in me. I am ridiculously Aquarius. And so as I was pulling out the mermaids, my eyes instantly went down. And from there was the Water Crystal Oracle by Dr. Emoto. And he's a cool dude. So he did so many experiments. He did some with rice, right? There was like 3 jars of rice. And so the first one he went to every day and told it, I love you, I love you. The other one, he said mean things. And then the last one, he ignored. And then so after so many days of doing this, he went back, and the one that got positive affirmations, it turned to like rice vinegar or rice wine or something like that. The one that had negative things said to it was starting to kind of go a little bit moldy. And then the one that was completely ignored was actually the rottenest. And it kind of showed that it's better to get negative attention than to get no attention at all, or like energy, and right, to be like left and forgotten and alone. And so at first I'm like, why am I talking about the rice one? You said it was all about water. But they're saying the forgotten one, the one when you're alone. At the beginning, they showed the partnership, someone holding space so that you can have this and do this. And so they're like, what if you don't have that? So that is, so if you are alone and, right, not feeling like it's such a positive environment, how do you work with yourself to make it adapt and make it thrive? And then last but not least, as I was holding these two, mermaids and water, the moon, the moon cards wanted to come out as well. So we're just going to do a quick little reading, because I see we're already at 20 minutes. But again, I have no time reference today because plans and everything changed. So they're saying 3, 2, and 1. wonder if you guys can pick up on Beauty purring. She has the super bass purrs. She really does. She's actually being very quiet right now. But she definitely brings the bass. What do we say? 3, 2, and 1. So that one and that one. And one of the water cards. Anyways, I didn't finish explaining what these water cards actually are because he did that rice experiment. So then what he did with these cards is he took different frequencies or emotion to water, because water is programmable and it captures emotion. And so what he did is he kind of blessed water, and then you can do that so simple. So what we have here, this one's a pretty positive one, because the more positive, the higher the frequency of the emotion, the more intricate and beautiful the details of it were. And then the lower it was, the more it was unsymmetrical and like a blob, more or less. But here we have happiness. So this, what they did was they programmed the water to it, and then they froze it. And then this is what it is under the microscope. And so, yeah, you just like, you can hold that frequency into the water and just have intention of healing, right? Because this technique will bring everything but the water, but you have to bring it back in, right? You got to add water into it somehow. So we've cleared the emotion, the water. So now what do you bring back into yourself? And so you can choose happiness, and just like these cards, you could just simply put your water bottle over it like that. And it is an energy vibration that is captured in the water. But what I like to do is just be happy and hold it. And as we did that, pulling it through into our heart, and the heart out into the hands, well, this is love. This is, I love to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so let's drink some of that. And so let's see what cards we actually got going on here. So a quick little message as to this and working through it is, okay, first one I see is make a decision. And that's what I thought when I was here. It's like you get to choose how you want to feel. So take time to slow down, right? Break free of those negative thoughts and things like that. And you can choose to have a different emotion that will set yourself higher. It's saying you're safe. You and your loved ones are safe. And it's okay to work through the fears. Because when you work through the fears, right, and clear that stagnant energy, because that's what fear is. Fear is a block. Clears that stagnant whatever in you that doesn't feel good. It'll come up as a dis-ease in your body somehow. And so, right, you've cleared it. And so now you get to choose what comes in, right? Drink lots of water. Definitely drink lots of water. And don't put yourself back into situations that you know are going to stress you and tax you beyond your means and steal your happiness. Doing stuff like this is, you know, beautiful to do if it's like part of your daily routine things. But when it becomes like an emergency issue that you need to actually take time and stop, or else, you know, the earthquake's gonna happen. It's saying like set yourself a little bit higher and well prepared so that you don't get to that burnout. Little things like this, and just creating that movement and that flow. Do it as soon as you wake up, they say. And by that, whatever was from yesterday, even if you wake up and have memories, right? As soon as you remember what you remembered last night, now you're building that ball again, that energy. So when you do that clearing, right, whatever happened, now you get to choose. Now you get to start better with you saying, today I choose happiness, and bring that frequency and that flow into you. I feel like I'm missing something important. When we come to the moon cards, it says new moon in Cancer and new moon in Scorpio. And so the new moon was yesterday, 2 days ago, something like that. So that might be why they're giving us this technique right now, is just because, right, new moon is really good for building intentions and plans and things like that. But if you aren't feeling in the flow, you're not really able to put a solid plan down. And what I'm seeing before I even started this reading was definitely not being the one in control and making the plan. It was more reacting and putting out fires. And so now we got water. We're bringing water in to heal. And yeah. Ooh, that's what I almost forgot. So you're building this energy, right? You could do this as long as you want. I would say, yeah, just do it till you feel like you've got what you need from it, or set a time limit. But when you're done with that, as we did, it's almost like you build that chi ball. Remember to give it back to yourself. And then just do a couple breaths and regulate and let that flow. Right? Do another quick body scan. Connect to all three of those energy points back to the heart. And you're ready for your day. You go out there and conquer whatever it is that you need to conquer. Anything else, Spirit? They said no for that, but just pull one more card from the mermaids. It's just confirmation and clarification, where I was like, if you start that and then you're ready for a brand new day, it's a new dawn. It says the worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. And so remember to drink lots of water. Bless your water. Remember to try the seashell technique, especially for those who are stuck in that really stagnant, unable to get your emotion flowing environment. But they're also saying, remember just to do little bits of these kinds of things every day so that you don't get there. Trying to avoid the burnout from ever even happening, rather than needing to recuperate from the burnout afterwards. And so from there, we're done. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.